I'm Nina Morrison. I was the 2018 #1 draft pick into the AFLW and I currently play with the Geelong Cats. I guess it really wasn't until that sort of talent ID day that I had the vision of actually playing footy. It had always been something that I'd grown up with and I'd really enjoyed going to the football and watching footy and just having a kick around with my brothers and dad and things like that. But it probably wasn't until I got an actual taste for playing footy that I really had that vision of and that dream of being a part of it. And I think as well with the start of the AFLW season and getting to watch that first intake of girls in 2017 and see them perform on a national stage was pretty inspiring. I think it's sort of always the way that I've been, that I just really want to get the best out of myself, and I enjoy being good at things, so I realise that to get to that point you have to work pretty hard. So it's sort of something that I've always prided myself on, is that ability to put in the hard work and to reap the rewards from that. So I think a lot of it just comes back to the effort that you're willing to put in and the time you're willing to dedicate to it. Yeah, so originally in the first year that I was in Vic Country, I wasn't picked to play against Vic Metro, and that sort of was a point where I think made me realise how much it was something that I wanted to pursue. At that point, I hadn't expected to make the Vic Country team. It wasn't something that was sort of on the radar for me, and then to make the initial squad and then miss out on playing in the game, I think that was sort of a moment of realisation that, hey, yeah, this is something that I really want to do and I really want to pursue. So sort of going on from that moment, I made a mental note to myself that this was something that I was going to work really hard on, and then the following year I sort of think that showed in my performance. I think work ethic's something that has sort of really been strong for me from an early age, and I guess it just goes back to that thing of wanting to get the best out of myself and be really good at the things that I put myself into. So I know that comes back to the work you're willing to put in, and so I pride myself on putting in that work ethic and working really hard to get the things that you want to achieve. I think it's really, you sometimes get to a point and people can assume that if you're good at a whole lot of things that these things just sort of come naturally to you. But my parents and my siblings as well, I think, play a really important role in sort of recognising that there's a lot of hard work that goes in prior to any accomplishment or any accolade. So it's really nice to sort of see that support and see that they recognise the hard work that I'm putting in. I think resilience is something that you can build from almost any experience that you go through if you're willing to take learnings from it. So any little setback that you have, whether that's not being picked in a team or getting injured and looking to maintain sort of positivity throughout it and optimism for when you return. I think it's just being able to draw on different people's experiences and emotions and sort of draw on that going forward and use little bits of that. Yeah, I think that leadership can take a whole lot of different styles, but I think personally I'm probably someone that tries to lead through actions and lead by example. So in terms of a football setting, I try and set a really high standard for our training standards or the way we perform on game day, and sort of I want to try and bring everyone up with me and try and make people see the potential they have, and then ways that they can sort of fulfil that. Obviously, growing up supporting the Cats and Joel being such a pivotal player in this whole sort of period that I've grown up watching his leadership, who I think he is someone who likes to lead by actions, and some of the actions he takes at pivotal points in a game is pretty inspiring. So Joel's definitely someone that I looked up to growing up. Yeah, I think it's really nice that AFLW has sort of created this platform where we can speak out and address these issues that maybe in the past have been sort of pushed to the side or swept under the rug as this casual sort of sexism that people are just happy to let slip by. So I think it's really powerful that there is now a platform where people can shut it down and say, hey, no, this actually isn't okay. I think that for Taylor to be in that position where she can show that I'm strong enough to call this out and I won't just stand by and let this happen anymore, I think is inspiring and really powerful for others. In 5 years' time, hopefully it just keeps on growing, and my sort of vision for the future is that hopefully it will come into a full-time profession that we'll be able to play all the teams once. The competition will keep growing, more people will be coming to the game. It'll be played more on television and things like that. Whether that happens in 5 years or a little bit more is a bit unknown, but hopefully it just keeps on growing. I think I'd say to them probably that just the pathways are there, the programs are set up for them now, so to look at the opportunity and take it with both hands, and if they're willing to work hard for it, then everything's sort of laid out in front of them for them now. So yeah, just take the opportunity with both hands, because the sky's the limit at the moment, really. Yeah, I think that it was a really nice sort of initiative set up by Jane to recognise the place that there is for people in education and in sport, and the combination of that. And so for her to back that, and then for me to receive it, I think it was a huge honour. Yeah, I think it's sort of that perfect size where it's not too big and not too busy, but it's sort of small enough that you know a lot of people, and it's got that community feel to it. And I guess the footy club really sort of is the centre of the town, and with you know, like 90% of the people living here supporting the Geelong Football Club, it's sort of got that central feel to it, and really draws the community in. Yeah, obviously there's a few places in Geelong, a lot of them revolving around football, considering that I really only came down here a few years ago to play football. So obviously Cardinia Park and the Geelong Footy Club is a place that holds a really special place in my heart. It's a place that's sort of welcomed me in with open arms, and the sort of culture around the club is really inviting, really warm, really welcoming. So it's a place that I love going into most days, and then to have as well the St Mary's Oval right outside, which is where I played a year of junior footy as well, sort of is a reminder of where I've come from, and now yeah, where I get to be, which is pretty cool.